I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Tonight's a bit of an unusual night. I've been battling the flu, and I know Vice President McCullough has been attending to some pressing issues, so we're attending virtually tonight. It's been a long time since we've done this, and so I ask your forgiveness in advance if there are any technical delays. I will ask board members, if you're going to speak, please move the microphone close to you when you do speak. And if there's any discussion at the table that I just don't hear, by all means, please feel free to bring it to my attention. And outside of that, I'm equipped with plenty of hot lemon tea and some cough drops. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Because we do have two members of the board who are participating virtually, we do have to do a roll call at the beginning of the meeting, and I'll conduct the roll call. I'll start with the officers first and then go alphabetically. As I call your name, board members, please indicate that you are attending and whether you are attending in person or virtually. Vice President McCullough.
Here, present.
Virtually?
Virtually, sorry.
The Secretary Roach.
Here in person.
Mr. Beeler.
Here in person.
Mr. Chaffee.
Here in person.
Mr. Garrett.
Here in person.
Ms. Sullivan.
Here in person.
And I am Mr. Riley, and I am participating virtually. Today's a very special day, not just for our school community, but for our nation. We often take the very things that we least deserve, we take them for granted. And on November the 11th, national ceremonies for veterans, past and present, take place to honor their willingness to serve and to sacrifice for the common good. Today is a day that we use to honor all of our vets, our forgotten vets, our remembered vets, our vets from standing wars and vets from our old wars, and we thank them very much for the sacrifices that they have made. And it was wonderful today to see pictures from the ceremonies at Schmucker and Grissom, where some of the veterans got to come and be with their children or grandchildren. We appreciate the sacrifice of all of our veterans. And to any of our veterans who happen to be watching, who are Marines, happy belated birthday. This past Tuesday, a general election occurred, and the PHM Board of School Trustees had 3 seats up for election. On behalf of the board administration, I welcome back Mr. Ryan McCullough, the Penn Township trustee. Mr. McCullough will serve another 4-year term. Mr. McCullough has served on the board as Penn Township trustee since 2021. Also, we welcome Mr. Gary Fox as a newly elected representative for the Harris seat, and Ms. Katie Bell, who is our newly elected representative for the Penn Township seat. Mr. Fox previously served on the PHM School Board for 20 years, from January 2001 through December 2020. Welcome them back. Our returning representatives and our newly elected representatives will be sworn in at our January 13, 2025 regular meeting. I'd also like to express my sincere appreciation to Mr. Jim Garrett and Ms. Claire Roach for their service on the PHM School Board. Mr. Garrett has served since 2017, and Ms. Roach has served since 2021. With that, Dr. Thacker will move into the superintendent's recognitions and announcements.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and Board of Trustees. Welcome, everyone. It's exciting to see everybody. It was a lot of fun. We had a great Veterans Day program at Schmucker Middle School today. It was the one in which I attended, and I can tell you we had so many great veterans there. It was just a wonderful opportunity to pay tribute to them. And so to our veterans in here, thank you. I salute you for your service. And as we go forward, we're going to have an outstanding report from our Penn High School Student Board Ambassador, Caitlin Vantine. And so I'd like to introduce CJ, and come on up. Welcome, CJ.
Good evening, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, and members of the board. I am CJ Vantine, here to share some recent accomplishments of Penn High School's community. While I don't believe I can compare to Kelly's "Don't Bore the Board" segment from last month, I'll use my Penn News Network journalistic skills and a recent Penn News Network segment title as my own. Today, I bring to you The More You Know with CJ Vantine. To get us started, as the leaves change color and fall down, fall sports are winding down and winter sports are opening up. While Indiana reigned supreme this weekend, the Kingsman football team took a tough loss to Crown Point this past Friday at the sectional championship. With this, the team ended the season with an 8-3 record, an impressive feat for the team after the switch from former Coach Yeoman to now Coach Riordan. Cross country brought home the wins, however, as the boys team placed 13th and the girls team placed 6th in the state. Freshman Shreya Nai took 13th of all girls in the state, and Nai has been nominated for South Bend Tribune's High School Athlete of the Week 3 times this season, and I'm anxious to see how many times she'll be nominated throughout her career at Penn. Girls basketball also conquered this weekend at their opening game with a score of 72-65 against Valparaiso. And then finally, in sports news, Penn alumna Annie Drews was inducted into the Purdue Athletics Hall of Fame on October 8th. In fine arts news, the Marching Kingsmen traveled to semi-state on October 27th. While the band did not make it to state, I still think this season was incredible because I for sure don't have the strength and ability to breathe that they do. Robotics teams won 35 and 328 from Penn High School, along with 6 other PHM schools were awarded a total grant of $53,600 in the month of October. The PHM proposal was selected from more than 145 grant proposals submitted for the funding opportunity. I've been to quite a few robotics events, and they are also commonly at general Penn events with their t-shirt cannon, and I can say their work is beyond impressive. Penn's Spobble team ranked number 5 at regionals and has qualified for state finals. Juniors Srija Bhattacharjee and Ishita Massady were perfect spellers. A week ago today, volunteers from Penn High School read children's books to students in Kids Club at North Point Elementary. This was part of the Penn Club Diversify Our Narrative, who also hosted a book drive last month that focused on books with diverse stories for children. These books were just a few of the more than 220 books donated by Penn students that were given to Better World Books. Penn High School also made change through monetary donations as Kingsman Court, which, not to brag, that I am a part of, collected over $5,000 for Riley's Children's Hospital during the 2023 to 2024 school year. Most of the money raised was from the annual Turkey Legs fundraiser, which is where both teachers and staff wear shorts throughout a week in November and carry around a bucket asking for money for the hospital. Turkey Legs this year takes place next week from the 18th to the 22nd. On Wednesday, the 20th, we will be hosting the first ever Turkey Bowl, a flag football style event which involves both staff and students. Our aim this year is to raise even more than all years past for the Children's Hospital and to get another red wagon. I guess that's all the more you need to know for this month. I'll see you in January for the next installment of The More You Know with CJ Vantine.
Wonderful. Thank you, CJ, very much. We look forward to The More You Know with CJ. And CJ, remind me, is this your first time talking to the board?
Yes, at an official board meeting. I did, well, not official, but my first ambassador. I spoke in February too.
Excellent. Are you a junior or senior?
I'm a junior.
All right, very good. Well, we'll have you around for a while yet. Thanks so much, CJ. And we'll move on to the Superintendent Spotlight on Technology, Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. At the start of the school year, the district launched a new parent communication platform, Parent Square. And it's not only improving parent engagement between students and the district schools and teachers, it's also helping to boost parent volunteer rates. So we're going to hear from Walt Disney Elementary School parents and teachers about what they like most about Parent Square.
Parent Square is a communication tool that we are using this year to instantly and very conveniently communicate with our parents.
With teaching kindergarten, my students sometimes go home and forget what they did at school that day. So parents have given me feedback that they really like when I share pictures throughout the classroom and what we're doing in our learning day, so they're able to have those conversations with their students at home.
Parent Square has a feature called Studio Editor. So as a teacher, if you're on your laptop, you can just whip up a quick parent newsletter, and it gives you the options to add graphics, photos, links, and then of course text.
I'm Kaylee Swinehart. I have 2 kiddos in 4th grade at Walt Disney Elementary, and I'm part of the PTO. Parent Square has helped us a lot because everything's all in one place. So any of the updates or the messages from teachers all come, and it comes through like email, text, so I don't miss any messages.
I think Parent Square is definitely helpful because it is a whole district platform. It's not just my classroom or just our school.
Yeah, so being all on one platform is super helpful because, again, I'm not missing anything, but also I can follow both of my kids and the entire school and anything that's going on PHM as a district.
I always get asked about what parents can do to help me in my classroom. I love that there are sign-ups available for like fall parties or if we're doing something special in the class. I also love posting photos in the classroom very frequently. Parents like to see their child at school.
So coming from PTO perspective, there's been a lot more volunteers this year using Parent Square than there has been in the past. It's almost doubled in volunteers so far.
I have the ability to see how many parents are signed up, how many parents have read my posts. They can like the post, they can appreciate the post, and they can also send me direct messages. The other feature I really like is that I am able to see all of the posts that the teachers are sending. Again, I can see the teachers sending photographs, sending videos of activities they're doing, sending announcements for our school, sending positive information. So overall, it's just been a great tool to use.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Thacker. We thank Mrs. Higginson and all the teachers and the parent who participate in the production of that video. Parent Square sounds like a great communication resource, and we appreciate bringing that to the board, Dr. Thacker. We'll move on to our next item, which is the Parent-Teacher Conference Survey results. And Dr. Thacker, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. We're very, very excited about the great news relative to our parent-teacher conferences. You know, we talk about that triangle of success that connects the students, teachers, and parents. And I can assure you, we are doing a really great job. The parents are actively involved. The teachers are doing a great job. And the students, obviously. So to show you how remarkable we're doing in our collaborative efforts as a triangle of success, Dr. Short's going to give some highlights.
Good evening, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board. I am pleased to be able to share information with you this evening. As in years past, we asked parents at elementary and middle school conferences to complete a parent survey. We keep it fairly brief on purpose. We know that that increases the number of people that are likely to respond. And there are also places for open-ended responses if parents choose to do so. So I'm really just going to share some information relative to the information we received back this fall. So we can go ahead to the next one. Thank you. So here, the first question is, in general, I feel my child's school is safe. So you can see on the left side are going to be the elementary school summary graphs in aggregate. And on the right side, you will see the middle school summary graphs in aggregate. This was a Likert scale of a 0 to 5. And strongly agree was a 5, agree was a 4, neutral was a 3, disagree was a 2, and strongly disagree was a 1. So you can see overwhelmingly how positive the response was, with at the elementary over 96% of parents responding that they agreed or strongly agreed that their child's school was safe. And at the middle school, you can see that 92.6% of the parents responded that they felt that their school was safe. In addition to that, just the visual of the difference between agree and strongly agree, and then it drops down drastically, even for the neutral category that is a 2.8 or a 5.9. So super happy with the first response. Second question then talks specifically about the curriculum and academic program and whether or not parents feel it's appropriate for their child. Again, you see tremendous response. 95% of parents at the elementary level agreed or strongly agreed with that statement. And 92.7% at the middle school agreed or strongly agreed that the academic program was on target for their child's needs. Next, pleased with the leadership of the building principal. Again, we have great results. So we have 93.8% of the elementary parents that responded agreed or strongly agreed with that statement, and 90% of the middle school parents agreed or strongly agreed with the statement. The next question was in regards specifically to their child's teacher or teachers. And at the elementary level, we had 96.7% of parents that agreed or strongly agreed, whereas at middle school, we had 93.2% of parents that agreed or strongly agreed. And then the last specific question was, I feel there's strong communication from the school regarding activities and events. And at the elementary, 94.7 agreed or strongly agreed, whereas at the middle school, 88.7 agreed or strongly agreed. And again, we're really, really happy with the results of this. An additional question that was asked is specific to e-learning, and it's just for elementary parents. We just always reach out early in the year and check to make sure that students have a Chromebook available for work at home if we need to call an e-learning day. So then we tabulate all of that information. Approximately 21% of the parents said that they would need a device. So we are able to provide those devices, and then individual building principals and their front offices follow up with parents to make sure that we set a time where a parent can come in and borrow a device. So in case of inclement weather, they're able to make sure that they have the ability to participate in e-learning. So all in all, we are very happy to have that feedback. We had some small increases in a lot of areas, and overall, I think overwhelmingly positive responses from parents.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Short.
I have a question.
Sure. Mr. Garrett.
I think we do a great job of making sure the kids have the Chromebooks and so forth. That's great. I'm wondering if these kids do not have the Chromebooks or do not have access, do they have access into the internet? Is that a problem at all?
So that's a great question. And our technology department works really well. They purchased, actually during COVID, we purchased some airport type of devices that parents can also reach out if they need additional support with internet services as well.
Those called hotspots.
Hotspots.
I'm not so old.
You got it. You got it.
Dr. Short, for those parents who did not select agree or strongly agree, were we able to get any feedback from them about their selection?
So individual principals receive the results specific to their school. So they would be able to reach out specifically to parents. And then, as I said, there was the capability for parents to put specific concerns or issues or questions that they would like some feedback on, and principals follow up with those as well.
Board members, other questions or comments? Well, Dr. Short and Dr. Thacker, we thank you for this presentation. It was excellent results indeed. And just for members of the audience, we have reached the conclusion of the presentation portion of our evening. If that's what you came to observe, you are more than welcome to leave the boardroom at this time, because we're now going to transition into the business portion of the meeting. And the first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Board members, before we take a vote on the adoption of the agenda, we do have a member of the audience who has asked to speak on this particular agenda item. So before we do anything else, I'll call on that member of the audience. Mr. Ben Dallas, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Good evening. My name is Ben Dallas. I live in Mishawaka. I got 4 kids that go to the school district. Item I'd like to add to the agenda is a quick award ceremony for Mr. Jim Garrett, if he would be willing to step up right now and come forward and receive this. He is now the 2-time winner of the Leader of the People Award. He has helped me in recent months with another school board member as I identified some issues with agenda items and stuff that happened at the school. He came back with me, gave me some feedback, helped me take care of the situation. And I want to recognize him for his over 50 years of service to the PHM community as a teacher, as a coach, as a school board member. He has given great service to this community, to this school. I want to recognize him and maybe even get a picture with him. That's awesome. Here's your award, sir.
Sophie, I guess. You want to volunteer to take the picture? You take it. Thank you so much, man. I really
Hey,
appreciate it.
thank you, sir.
1, 2, 3. All right. I have a special place for this in my house, believe me, right next to the other one.
Two-time winner. Two-time winner. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your recognition.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Dallas. Okay, board members, any additions or changes to tonight's proposed meeting? Administration.
No changes.
Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda for the Monday, November 11, 2024 regular board meeting as presented?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor, I'm sorry. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Riley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McCullough, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Roach, how do you vote?
Aye. Mr. Beeler, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Chaffee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Sullivan, how do you vote?
Aye.
We'll show that the motion passes unanimously. Next up is the approval of the minutes. Board members, any changes to the minutes from the October 7 regular board meeting? Administration,
The administration has no changes.
do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Riley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McCullough, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Roach, how do you vote?
Aye. Mr. Beeler, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Chaffee, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Mr. Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Sullivan, how do you vote?
Aye.
We'll show that the motion passes by a vote of 6 in favor with 1 abstention. Next up is the consent agenda. Dr. Thacker, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. The administration recommends approval of the consent agenda as presented. Appearing on the personnel report under classified are retirement of 2 employees. William Kreider, bus operator, who retired on October 24th, 2024, following 4 years of service, and Christina Palmer, educational assistant at Elsie Rogers, who will retire on January 10th, 2025, following 10 years of service. On behalf of the board, the administration, we wish William and Christina the very best in their upcoming retirements. In addition, we have some amazing coaches who have retired or are going to retire. Rita Sweet, a head cheer coach for football and basketball at Penn High School, is retiring from coaching after the current football season is over after 12 years of service, and she's been phenomenal. Eric Bauer is also resigning as the boys' Penn High School head tennis coach at the end of this school year after 22 years of service, and he took his team to the state championship this year. Phenomenal coach. He's going to continue to lead the Penn High School girls tennis team. And then Tom Miller is retiring as the boys' Penn High School head cross-country coach and boys' Penn High School assistant track coach at the end of the school year after 33 years of cross-country and 35 years of track. Another phenomenal coach. Finally, Tony Palazzotto is resigning as the boys' Penn High School head golf coach after 11 years of service, and he's done just a phenomenal job as well. So on behalf of the board administration, we'd like to thank Rita, Eric, Tom, and Tony for their service as well.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. Board members, any questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I so move.
I second.
Mr. Riley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McCullough, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Roach, how do you vote?
Aye. Mr. Beeler, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Chaffee, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Mr. Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Sullivan, how do you vote?
Aye.
We will show that the motion passes with 6 in favor and 1 abstention. And I too want to take a moment, William and Christina, to thank you so much for everything that you've done for PHM. We wish you Godspeed and health in your retirement. Also, Rita, Eric, and Tom, and Tony, thank you so much for what you've done for the Penn Athletics program. I know Rita better than I know Tony and Tom and Eric. And Rita, I just want to tell you, you've been such a joy to work with, and God bless you. Thank you for everything that you've done. We wish you all the enjoyment that you so richly deserve. So with that, we'll move on to our next item, which is the action instruction items involving curriculum and instructional changes. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley, Board of Trustees. Tonight, we have a returning item to present to the board for action, and that is the approval of the curriculum and instructional changes for the Penn High School 2025-2026 Program of Studies Guide. The proposed changes were presented for discussion and review at the October 7th meeting by Penn High School Principal Dr. Sean Gallagher, Associate Principal Mrs. Rachel Fry, and Assistant Principal Mr. Josiah Parker. And I'd like to ask Dr. Short, Assistant Superintendent, to present this item.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker, President Riley, members of the board. We are here this evening asking for approval for the program of studies for Penn High School for next year. As you noted and as the administration presented at the last meeting, several new courses that align to what the state is looking for, as well as other opportunities for our students. So we are happy to answer any questions if you have them, and otherwise we are looking for approval this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker and Dr. Short. Board members, I know this has previously been presented to the board, but do you have any questions or comments?
My question is simply, do we have a sense for when the state will approve the graduation requirements? Have they already done so since the last meeting? Or
they're scheduled to approve the next iteration in December. So
December.
soon.
Okay, so soon. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the curriculum and instructional changes for the Penn High School 2025 to 2026 Program of Studies Guide?
I so move.
I second. Mr. Riley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McCullough, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Roach, how do you vote?
Aye. Mr. Beeler, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Chaffee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ms. Sullivan, how do you vote?
Aye.
We'll show that motion is approved by a vote of 7-0. And again, thank you, Dr. Short. Thank you also, Mr. Gallagher, for your assistance in preparing that information for the board. And we'll move on to our instruction reports, which focuses on the Penn High School Academies. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. This is so exciting. We have these amazing students here with us, these great teachers. So we're going to hear a presentation on the Health and Human Services and World Languages Academies at Penn High School, and Dr. Short will introduce this item.
Thank you again, Dr. Thacker. We are very excited to hear from several students as well as 2 academy leaders who are fabulous at their jobs. And we have with us this evening Mrs. Rachel Myers. She is our academy leader for the Health and Human Services Academy, and also Mrs. Kelly Watts. And she will come up after Mrs. Myers is finished, and she is the academy leader for world languages. So, Mrs. Myers, welcome.
Hi. Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Thacker, and members of the school board. I'm so excited to be here, and as the coordinator of Health and Human Services Pathway, there's a lot to share and celebrate. The culinary students have been busy. Next week, they actually are partnering with the 2nd grade students of Bittersweet Elementary to teach them how to measure, mix, and bake gingerbread for their upcoming gingerbread house project. Our 3rd year culinary students have also completed their first ever Michiana Chili Cook-Off competition. Even though we did not place, let me see if I can get you going on this. The gingerbread. Even though we did not place, our team received great praise throughout the competition for our chili. And finally, these same students are taking their Serve Safe exam this next week. It's a national industry certification, so wish them luck. I'm also excited to share another level of cadet teaching that has been added to complete the Education Professions Pathway for dual credit. Students are learning to use technology in the classroom to enhance student and learning engagement. Our exercise science students continue their practicals for authentic learning. And then finally, our interior design students are collaborating with the building trades program as they design their interior components of the current build. So to expand on these experiences, I have 3 students with me, Jocelyn Teeple, Addison Petty, and Kylie Mason, to share their journey.
My name is Jocelyn Teeple, and I'm representing cadet teaching. Cadet teaching has given me so many unique opportunities. Going out to the elementary schools has been incredibly helpful in figuring out what grades appeal to what I would like to teach, compared to the first level, which focuses more on high school grades. It's given me a unique perspective on how teaching younger kids might look and how younger kids learn. The observations have been crucial in helping me decide on my future and spark my love for teaching. Furthermore, exploring the psychology and philosophies behind learning and teaching has been eye-opening. I see the concepts I'm learning in cadet teaching being used by my own teachers in other classes, and I realize just how prevalent and important these ideas are. I look forward to exploring the middle schools and participating in a prolonged field experience this coming year. I'm also excited to take the third year and learn more about technology and how that affects the learning environment. Taking this class has contributed heavily to my love for teaching and opened my eyes to the endless possibilities in this field.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Hi, my name's Kylie Mason, and I'm in my second year of cadet teaching, and I'm also in capstone of early childhood education. These two classes have transformed my opinions on working with children as a whole, and I used to fight the responsibilities, as this used to be just a filler class. That class now opened the door to be hopefully to be my career. In Miss Wetzel's class, let me see the pros and cons of being responsible of other people, and it made me realize I love giving people a safe space and caring for them. It gave me the motivation to become a teacher. Cadet is another fun, incredible class, and it helps us know what grade we want to go into because we observe through kindergarten through 8th grade, and I can't wait to go to middle school because I still can't decide what grade I want to go into. We also learn other things through theorists and content checks, which helps us learn different types of teaching that we can use in our own ways. These two classes have helped open the door to me figuring out where I want to go into life.
Very nice. Thank you.
I'm missing my third student, but I wanted to share her words. She's saying, "Good evening, everyone. Today I want to share my journey and how the culinary arts course has transformed my life over the past 2 years. Moving from Texas to Penn as a freshman was a big change for me. I was unsure, nervous, and trying to find my place in a new school. But everything changed when I stepped into my culinary arts class. From the very first day, I felt a sense of belonging. The kitchen became my sanctuary, and it was a space where I could express myself, be creative, and learn something new every single day. The supportive teachers played a crucial role in my journey. They believed in my potential, and when I sometimes struggled to see it in myself. Their encouragement pushed me to explore and develop my skills. Culinary arts has taught me more than just how to chop vegetables or bake the perfect cake. It has given me valuable lessons in teamwork, time management, and the importance of precision. I've made friendships with classmates who share my passion for cooking. Together, we have laughed, learned, and even faced challenges that have made us stronger as humans. As I stand here today, about to graduate, I realize that the opportunities I've gained through culinary arts have shaped my confidence and my future. I have discovered a passion that I want to pursue beyond these walls. Cooking is not just a career for me, it is a way to connect with others, help people, and create memories. I'm incredibly grateful for my journey. Thank you to my teachers, my family, and everyone who has supported me along the way. I cannot wait to see what else we get to do this year." That was for Madison.
Wonderful.
Hello, President Riley, Dr. Thacker, and members of the board. My favorite board meeting of the year is here. I'm honored to be back and present to present and update the World Languages Academy. Our students and staff have been busy celebrating our different cultures as we learn about our countries and languages we're studying. During the end of October and beginning of November, our Spanish students learned about Dia de los Muertos, while some of our teachers dressed up as La Catrina for our staff Halloween dress-up competition. Our Japanese students participated in the homecoming parade wearing traditional Japanese kimonos. French class had to solve puzzles showing their knowledge of what they had learned in a breakout activity. Every year, we are so inspired by our ASL students who partner with Elkhart schools to sign the national anthem before a game, both in football and in basketball. Our Chinese classes had a poster contest that offered teachers around the building a chance to vote on which poster was most informative and beautiful. Last summer, was a busy time of travel for our students and our teachers, as our French and Spanish students went to France and Spain for 10 days, and our German students traveled to their partner school in Germany to study and visit with the German friends and to sightsee. I'm certain this spring our language teachers will be coming back to visit you all and requesting trips for the future. We're excited to be offering the national exams in each language to our level 4 students and for them to receive a weighted grade this year. This has been a huge improvement for us. But one of the things we're most proud and excited about this year is a new class that we've tried to offer for several years in the past, but we have finally got enough students who are willing to sign up and take this. And it is for our Spanish for Heritage Spanish Speakers course. And I've invited Ruth Batista Vargas here to tell you about how this class has benefited her more than just attending one of our regular Spanish classes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ruth Bautista Vargas, and I'm here to talk about the recently added Spanish Heritage class. I want to focus on 3 key benefits that I've noticed in this class. The first one is it builds on existing knowledge. This class recognizes and works on existing language knowledge that students already have, usually coming from family, from community, or cultural experiences. This class provides a deeper understanding and mastery of the language. It creates linguistic confidence, and it works on students' unique needs rather than starting on basics. The second thing I want to talk about are the positive outcomes. The Spanish Heritage class brings academic benefits, cultural connection, personal growth, and authentic language development. It does this by preparing students for more advanced work. It connects students to their heritage and their identity. It supports lifelong learning, and it focuses on real-world language applications. And the last one and the most important one for me is the emotional benefits and connections, because I speak on behalf of my classmates. In that class, we all feel understood and comfortable because we feel like we belong there, you know? And Spanish Heritage class brings cultural pride because you feel proud of what you know, you feel proud of where you come from, and yeah, you just feel like yourself there. It gives you a sense of belonging because you connect with your roots and your background. It reduces language anxiety because that classroom provides a really big supportive environment, and it also creates stronger bonds within our cultures. And I want to give a special thank you to Mr. Gutierrez because he's made that class really really amazing for all of us in there. Yeah, I'm more than welcome to answer any questions you guys have.
Wonderful.
Una pregunta para usted. Señorita Bautista Vargas, ¿piensas que tienes un superpoder en ser bilingüe?
Sí.
¿Por qué?
Porque primero que todo te ayuda a entender más a otras personas, al igual que te ayuda a conocer más de todo.
Qué bendición, ¿no?
Sí, es una gran bendición.
Estoy muy orgullosa de usted
Gracias.
y todos sus compañeros en esa clase.
Muchas gracias.
Y su profesor sobresaliente, ¿no?
Sí.
Felicitaciones.
Muchas gracias.
Mrs. Watts, can you translate for the rest of us?
I will give you the gist. Being able to speak more than one language is a superpower. And that's what Señorita Bautista said. And I told her I was very proud of her in Spanish.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Ms. Roche. And we all are very proud of you, Ruth. That is wonderful. And I'm so grateful that we have that Spanish for Heritage Spanish Speaker program going. Board members, any comments or questions?
Well, Addison here. Addison made it. So
Addison, welcome.
She was our culinary arts student from Texas.
I moved here 2 years ago, as y'all heard. The culinary arts course has completely changed my whole school. I love going to school now. I came here as a repeat freshman, and now I'm graduating 2 years later. So that's amazing, and I can't wait to see what I do with the rest of my life with the content and information I've gained from culinary arts.
That's awesome, Addison. We can't wait to see you. Well, I'll tell you what, Mrs. Watts, this is one of my favorite presentations of the year too. And Mrs. Myers, I just want to give you our gratitude for your presentation, but also a reminder that we school board members love invitations to those culinary arts events, especially Chili Cook-Off.
It was fun.
Thank you guys so much. And Jocelyn and Kaylee, I mean, I'm not trying to influence your future thinking, but I know a really good school district where you could teach at in the future. Addison, we sure appreciated the statement that you made, and thanks for coming in and seeing us face to face. And Ruth, it was great to hear from you, and so glad that you're championing that cause for Spanish speakers. It's wonderful to have you. This is a wonderful presentation. We thank you guys so much for coming and giving it to the board, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the business and operational services action items. Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley, Board of Trustees. This is for the approval of capital improvements, and Chief Operating Officer Dr. Aaron Lesky will present our first business action item this evening, which is a request for approval of 2 capital improvement projects. Dr. Linsky?
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. Good evening, President Riley, members of the Board of School Trustees. As Dr. Thacker mentioned, the administration is requesting approval for 2 items this evening. First item that we propose to purchase are for 2 speed treadmills units for Penn High School. They're called Shred Mills from Shred Mill Incorporated. These units are designed to support students, athletes in developing speed, acceleration, endurance, and overall athletic growth. Total purchase price for both units is $24,550, and they will be integrated into our strength and conditioning curriculum. Second item is for the construction, a construction contract to build exterior restroom and concession facilities at both Schmucker Middle School and Discovery Middle School. In collaboration with Garmin Miller, we recommend awarding the contract to Almac Soda Beer LLC of Goshen for a total contract award of $1,462,000. No alternates were accepted in this bid, but we did receive a very competitive 7 bids on this project, which is great. Currently, neither of these middle schools have exterior restrooms, and the addition will significantly enhance the experience for students, staff, and most importantly, our community. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Linsky. Board members, any questions or comments?
What's the general lifespan of one of those treadmills? How long do they last being? Do we have any sense for that?
No, I don't know that answer. I mean, I would imagine if they're typical to our other treadmills, you can get 10 years out of them if you service them and such. These are unique. They're not motor driven. Believe it or not, they actually are resistance training. And so I don't know what, especially with, we have, I think, 1,250 kids in that class, 2 treadmills. We're probably going to need more. We're starting with 2. This is a pilot. And I'd imagine if we only have 2, they won't last as long as we would like.
How much was each one?
I think it's together. I think it was 24,550, so roughly 12,000. And that's pretty common for a commercial treadmill that we have in the fitness center. Mr. Garrett knows that. He's worked many years up there.
I never priced out a treadmill. Tried to stay away from them. I was on the other end.
That's right. Weightlifting.
Other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, there are 2 motions that I will present, and I'll call for 1 vote on the 2 motions at one time. Do I have a motion to approve the purchase of the Shred Mill speed training equipment for Penn High School as presented, and to award the contract to Almac Soda Beer LLC of Goshen to construct exterior restroom and concession buildings at Schmucker and Discovery Middle Schools as presented?
I so move.
I second. Mr. Riley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McCullough, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Roach, how do you vote?
Aye. Mr. Beeler, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Chaffee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ms. Sullivan, how do you vote? Aye.
We'll show that those motions are approved by a vote of 7-0. Thank you very much, Dr. Linsky. And don't go far, because we're going to call on you for the approval of professional services agreements, but I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Thacker.
Thank you, President Riley and Board of Trustees. Chief Operating Officer Dr. Aaron Linsky will present our first or our final business action item this evening, which is a request for approval of 2 professional service agreements. Dr. Linsky.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. The first is for an expansion of our existing contract with MAC Property Services. They're going to expand and provide snow removal services at Madison, Elm Road, Grissom, and Meadows Edge. It's on our southern half of the district. We had a contractor previously helping us out, and we've selected MAC to do their work. We're recommending a 1-year agreement with MAC for a minimum of 12 events per year for a total cost of $28,373.60. MAC already provides these services at Prairie Vista, Mary Frank, and North Point, as well as providing us grounds work district-wide. The second agreement is with Arcos Design, a Mishawaka-based firm for architectural engineering and design services for a flat fee of $73,000 plus reimbursable expenses. This is an exciting project. We're looking at transforming classrooms at Schmucker Middle School back into classrooms for some much needed space at that building. And we're going to move our information technology department over to the new building behind Culver's that we purchased last spring. So this is a part of that strategic plan to best serve the district. So we're happy to provide this recommendation and be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Board members, any questions or comments?
The timeline for when?
Yeah, we're going to be as aggressive as possible. Our goal is to, we would love to have technology moved over to the new center by July 1. And then it's just a matter of time before we can get those 3 classrooms. I've worked with Mrs. Smith. She understands it's likely we may not start the school year with those classrooms completely ready, but I would anticipate by early fall, they'd have access to those. So we could provide some much needed space slightly after the school year started.
Other questions or comments? There are 2 motions that I'll present, and I will take one vote on the 2 motions at one time. Do I have a motion to approve the professional services agreement with MAAC Properties as presented and approve the professional services agreement with Arcos Design as presented?
So move. I second. Mr. Riley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McCullough, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Roach, how do you vote?
Aye. Mr. Beeler, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Chaffee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Sullivan, how do you vote? Aye.
Thank you, board members. We'll show that those 2 motions have been approved by a vote of 7-0 as well. And we'll now move on to the hearing of visitors at regular meetings. The public is invited to address the board on general topics under the hearing of visitors without registering. A time limit of 3 minutes shall be enforced for persons wishing to speak during the hearing of visitors. Board Attorney Mr. Jeff Johnson will keep time and will let you know as your time is expiring. It is requested that names and addresses be stated at the beginning of such comments. Individuals may speak only once during this section of the agenda. Please understand that personnel issues absolutely cannot be addressed during open sessions of the board. PHM has a clearly defined procedure for personnel issues. That is, concerns about individual employees of the district should be brought to the superintendent or to his designee, and I encourage anyone who has a personnel concern to voice that concern to the superintendent outside of a public meeting. Please use orderly and appropriate language and volume when addressing the board. Also, this is an opportunity for members of the public to address the board. Please refrain from directing your remarks to other members of the public who are in attendance tonight. And I respectfully ask anyone wishing to address the board abide by this policy. Repeated violations of these instructions could result in forfeiture of your remaining time allotment. The board does not respond to questions or comments that are posed during the hearing of visitors. With those ground rules in place, would anybody like to address the board? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to board reports and requests.
We do have someone.
Mr. Riley, we do have one.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, President Riley and Dr. Thacker. I thank you for your time. First and foremost, I would like to state that the Veterans Day event this morning was amazing, and of great detail was put in that and a lot of hard work. So thank you to everyone that was involved in that. It was quite wonderful. So thank you. I'm here tonight for a particular reason. I have 5 children in the PHM system. And next year I will have 4 kids at Penn High School. So God bless all those teachers. I am a Christian, and that is what I am defined by. This past week, one of my children reported that they had a class that was of a controversial nature in our household. It involves the LGBTQ community, and I understand that that is a topic that is very touchy to some people. So, and I'm no way trying to insult anybody or call anybody, and I want to make sure that it's clear that the teachers in this school district are amazing people and put a lot of work into this, and they put a lot of effort into making each class beneficial in every way. So I would quickly like to just read this for you guys, and I apologize, I'm a little bit nervous. So, how does the concept of two-spirit challenge Western understanding of gender and sexuality? Is this the same as identifying as transgender or non-binary? How did colonization impact the perception and acceptance of two-spirit individuals within indigenous communities, and how does this highlight how ideas of gender change over time? What is the connection between the two-spirit communities' historical roles and their involvement in land defense movements? How does the video, it was a video, illustrate the intersectionality of environmental activism, indigenous rights, and LGBTQ, I apologize, rights? It goes on and on and on. I am asking 2 things. I am asking humbly that additional consideration be given for these teachings, that an alternate teaching would be available to the students, and that parents would also be informed. I understand that I don't hold the majority view most of the time, and to me this is offensive. And this is not offensive to everybody, and I understand that. And I understand that those teachers are trying very hard to make sure to keep the students engaged and prepare students for the future. And I only ask, how does this help prepare my child for the future? How is this going to help my child prepare for college in the real world? And some may feel that it does. I personally do not. I thank you for your time. I thank you for consideration. And if you would like a copy of it, I do have an extra copy I'd be willing to share. But otherwise, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, sir. Before we walk away,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that we got your name.
Oh, I apologize. My name is Daniel Fisher. I'm at 54083 Martinsville Court in Osceola.
Mr. Fisher, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Are there other members of the public who wish to address the board?
My name is Brent Curtis. I have 1 child in the PHM schools. Now that the election is over, we know who the new school board members are going to be. As with any election, I'm sure that some people are happy and some are disappointed. I am neither happy nor disappointed. I'm hopeful. Hopeful that the new board members are more active and vocal than some of the current members. Hopeful that the new board members will not fall victim to the pressure to fall in line and be a voiceless follower. Hopeful that the new members have the conviction and fortitude to push back on issues, even if it means standing alone. I submit to you that the disparity is what makes an organization great. A group of like-minded individuals will never grow if they are one-dimensional. The best football teams do not recruit only quarterbacks. The best baseball teams do not recruit only pitchers. It takes a diverse group that recognizes strengths, embraces weaknesses, and works together to maximize potential and achieve success. Lastly, I'm also hopeful that you will consider electing new officers. This is not an indictment of current officers. It is simply a clear path for this board to move forward with renewed excitement and enthusiasm and put the issues and turbulence of the past couple of years behind you. It's time to check egos at the door. This is not the place to seek recognition and personal accolades. A Notre Dame football player once asked Coach Lou Holtz to put player names on the back of the jerseys. When asked why, he said, so that people know who we are. Coach Holtz's response was, if you're good enough, they'll know who you are. The campaign was all about telling everyone who you are. Now it's time to be good enough that they know who you are. Remember, you are not here for your own benefit. You are here for the students, staff, and families of PHM. No other reason. They deserve your best, and you owe it to them to give it.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis. Is there anybody else who would like to address the board? If anybody could tell me, I can't see if anybody's approaching the podium. If somebody at the table could tell me if anybody's approaching or whether.
There were no other requests, Mr.
Okay.
Riley.
Thank you, Dr. Thacker. So then we'll move on to board reports and requests. Board members recognizing Robert's rules for appropriate discourse and with a 10-minute limit. Does any board member have anything to report or request? Hearing none, we'll move on to announcements. The next regular meeting of the Penn-Harris-Madison Board of School Trustees will convene on Monday, December 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Educational Services Center. And there being no further business before the board, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I second.
Mr. Riley, how do you vote? Do we
Aye.
have to roll call on this one?
Unanimous consent.
Mr. Riley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McCullough, how do you vote?
Aye.
I vote aye. Mr. Beeler, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Chaffee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Garrett, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mrs. Sullivan, how do you vote? Aye.
We'll show that the motion to adjourn is approved by a vote of 7-0, and we are adjourned at 6:56 p.m. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night.